Happy Friday, everyone. Um, this is probably one of my favorite slide deck covers. It took me quite a long time to put all the images together, but I really wanted to showcase all the amazing illustrations that we have for Ironfish and how much I love the visual brand of Ironfish. Yeah, and this is probably one of the covers that I'll use for quite a long time. Um, I know. Uh, we have an amazing designer, Skylar, who made all these illustrations. And so all of these were done in house over many years, actually. So some of these illustrations were, from like one of our earliest website versions. And he's just an incredible illustrator. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and get started. Mabel, please record. Okay, great. So, quick agenda. I'm going to give some updates on exchanges. There have been a lot of questions on Discord about some of these exchanges. So I just want to be really specific about what's going on. I've obviously answered some of the questions in the general channel on Discord, but I want to make sure that people have a chance to ask questions in real time as well. I'm going to give a few updates about Daniel and his trip to Dubai, which was awesome, and he did a great job representing Ironfish. I'm going to do some project updates, and then we'll have room for questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So exchange updates. I'm going to talk about these exchanges in particular, Coinstore, KuCoin, and BingX. Again, these are the three exchanges that people have been asking the most about. Obviously, these are not all the exchanges that Ironfish is on. But yeah, so for Coinstore, Coinstore announced a while back that they were going to list Iron, and they haven't yet. So a lot of people have been asking, when are they going to list Iron? Why the delay? Are they still going to do it? What is happening? And the answer is yes. They're still in the process of listing Ironfish and native Iron. The delays are, on their side from various reasons. I don't think they realized that Ironfish is actually a custom L1 chain. It's a full privacy chain. I don't think they realized that they were going to have to resource engineers to fully onboard this. And so part of it, the delay is because of the complexity of onboarding a new L1 chain, because it's not just an ERC20 coin, it's not just an EVM coin. Some of the delays are coming because of that. They also had delays because they were focusing on all the crypto events that happened in Dubai. So they did a pretty huge event in Dubai, like their own Coinstore side event that Daniel was at. Hi, Jason. It's great to see you here. And to continue the Coinstore, the latest update that we got from them is that they are still aiming to list in May. It'll just be end of May instead of early May like they told us originally. I do want to talk about some exchanges, some of the updates from KuCoin. So KuCoin did delist us a while back due to Iron being a full privacy coin. We did work with them, and I asked very bluntly, why are we being delisted? And I literally asked in the Telegram channel, is it purely because Ironfish is privacy related? And the answer that I got was correct. We have been trying to work with them for quite a while, but it sounds like that's just not going to happen. Fine. But the unfortunate thing is that some of the users did not have time to withdraw their Iron before the delisting, and they just were completely locked out of their tokens and they couldn't get them back. We have been working with them for quite some time. We've been bugging them nonstop. We've gotten to a point of like, look, like we'll sponsor those coins. Like, just let us know, like give us a process for confirming which users still have their tokens frozen. How can we actually help the situation? Because we want to be really fair to our community, and this just seems like theft. So we have been bugging them for quite some time. Mabel, who's on this channel, has been really good about pinging that channel like almost on a daily basis, just really hammering it into them. And finally, the last response we got, which was May 2nd, so about a week ago, that speaking to those individual users to get their tokens back. So if you are on KuCoin, please file a ticket with them and then let us know the ticket number so that we can actually bug them. Okay, hopefully it works okay now. Okay, for BingX, BingX has agreed to support wrapped iron. So there have been some questions about BingX, like, are they delisting iron? What's the problem? And they're moving away from supporting native iron but they agreed to support wrapped iron. So wrapped iron is wrapped iron on base. It's, a wrapped representation of the native iron. We have made it extremely easy for you to bridge iron from Ironfish to Base using both the Node app as well as the online portal, the bridge.ironfish.network. So very easy to move to and from native and wrapped iron, and they'll be able to support that. We are going to have market making support for BingX, and the market maker is helping us push BingX to hurry up their timelines. So we should have some updates from them next week. Hopefully they, there's some delays there too, but we are definitely paying them. Okay, Daniel in Dubai. Daniel did an amazing job. He did a keynote presentation at the Coinstore side event in Dubai. It was a 15-minute presentation. We have the video. We're actually going to upload it right after this talk. That talk was incredible. He did a really great job representing Ironfish. He did a great job really explaining what Ironfish is and all of the innovations that we have done. Ironfish is the only privacy chain the first privacy chain to have like a multi-asset shielded pool. We're the first ones to have ledger support, and he was really able to explain that and articulate that extremely well. So I'm really excited to upload that video right after this, or we'll probably do today. So project updates. So we actually have 2 stealth projects. And the reason why they're stealth is because we want to validate the idea first. And the 2 projects that we are working on might seem a little controversial, and I want to give the people that are working on that project the flexibility and ability to really explore that project before announcing it to the world and getting a lot of feedback from people that might be discouraging or might sway their kind of opinion of how to go forward. So I'm unfortunately, I'm not really going to talk about the 2 projects that we have so far, but I do want to give you a high level thinking of the 2 stealth projects. And the high level is that we were really thinking about how is privacy going to be important for our future in regards to on-chain identity and AI. And again, I'm not going to talk about these stealth projects in detail, but I am going to talk about what they're trying to address. So one of the stealth projects is actually being currently worked on by a community member who wishes to be anonymous, but he is full-time and he's been working really hard on this project. And I saw some of the updates just yesterday, and he's actually fairly far along. And the question that this project is trying to address is, how do we enable on-chain identity while protecting user privacy? On-chain identity is obviously a huge topic. There are so many teams working on this, and there's obviously different ways to approach this problem. And the way this community member is approaching this is a really good take. And I'm pretty excited for him to release something soon that's going to be like the first iteration of that idea. And again, we're going to validate it first before really announcing it, meaning that we're going to kind of ship it in a kind of a silent way. We're going to actually ping customers and ping users and really validate the idea before doing a full launch, which I'm really excited about. And then the second project, we have a team working on this. They just started literally this week, actually. We've been thinking about this idea for quite some time. We just couldn't understand, we had a difficulty kind of understanding how we can really tie AI to Ironfish and to crypto and to privacy in a way that makes sense. Because I actually, I don't think that a lot of the AI projects in the crypto space really do make sense. And so we've been brainstorming for quite some time of how do we tie AI to crypto in a way that will actually bring value? And I think the idea that currently that team is working on is also very exciting and very interesting, but it is going to be more on the controversial side. And so I really want to give that team the freedom to explore without people's opinions first, especially since that project is really early. But yeah, we have 2 people working on that right now, and we'll probably, depending on how well that project is going to go, we're going to hire more people for that team as well. So yeah, I'm sorry that I can't share too much about it. But I want to balance giving the community more visibility into what the team is doing, but also giving those people that space to really explore the idea before launching it. And I think that's it. I mean, I really want to leave this time for questions. I've been trying to answer questions in the general channel, when I see them, but want to give you time to answer to kind of talk about it as well. Some of the questions that I've seen is, are the investors, do investors still believe in the project? I'm not sure where that even is coming from. And then we had some questions of well, did Electric Capital really invest? Did Andreessen really invest? They did. It's literally on their website. It's been, you can literally check out Twitter. You can check out the Andreessen portfolio website. So I'm not sure where those questions are coming from. I think the symptom of those questions, or the root source of those questions, are those investors still holding Iron? Are they believing in the project? Ironfish firstly is a privacy chain, so the fact that we don't know that answer is kind of a good thing. We don't know who's selling what coins, but in terms of their support, Electric Capital is one of the best investors. Avisho is one of the best investors, and he's been really supportive of the project throughout its history. So I don't think that they're going to be doing anything malicious at this point. Other updates that I forgot to mention, we do have some more mining pools that are coming online. There are smaller mining pools, but I'm actually really excited about this because we had one person, we were working on giving them a grant because he literally spun up the entire mining pool from scratch by himself, which is amazing. We're going to be giving them a grant to kind of support that project. And then we have another person who reached out about setting up a mining pool as well. Also fairly small miner. But I'm loving the fact that smaller miners are getting to the game because we definitely need more decentralization. Product Guy, I will get back to you. It's Dave Plays is the person who is setting it up. He has been in the community or in the Discord channel, but I don't know the actual name of his mining pool, so I'll get back to you on that. Crypto Donald said, Ironfish was at the main page on the Electric Capital website. Now I do not see it at all in the investment sections of their website. I'll ping them on that. You're right, Ironfish was literally on their main page. Maybe because there was an acquisition for IF Labs to Base that they decided to take it off, but I'll ping them and ask what's going on. Can the Ironfish protocol be used for purposes beyond privacy? It's primarily for privacy right now, but that is a great question of how can we expand Ironfish to other chains. I think privacy is still a really good focus area for us, but I think the root of that question is, can we expand the Ironfish protocol to be more for just private payments on Ironfish? How can we expand it to other chains? And I think that's something we've been thinking about a lot of, can we bring Ironfish to chains like Base and so on. Is there a good tutorial on bridging Iron? Yes, there is. It's actually on my Twitter, the video. I should actually probably upload that video to our YouTube channel now that I'm thinking about it. But yes, 1 second, I will find it. What is one favorite major users of Monero wish Monero had within legal and moral bounds? That is a great question for Monero users. I would love to know that. Yeah, Monero is still, Monero to this day is actually still the most widely used privacy coin project of all time. We in the past we've had kind of some friction with the Monero community, but I really do respect the fact that they've been, really strong on their values. They've done really great things. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Is there an ATA for native wallet Apple devices? So we do have an Ironfish mobile app that is on test flight that you can actually use right now. Let me send you the link. And we also have a blog post on that topic as well. Let me send that to you as well. We did get some criticisms of why is it only available on iOS? Why is it not also on Android? I think focusing on something small and making sure that experience is good before moving on is the best bet. All right, other questions. Have you heard of any other ideas that seem worthwhile for apps to build on top of the Ironfish L1? AI now enables many of us to prototype and test code, which was out of reach now. That is extremely true. So we do have that second stealth project that's really focusing on AI. It's not quite focusing on how do you build an Ironfish, but that is a really great point. It's kind of focusing on other parts of crypto first. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely thinking very actively on how to get closer to AI and how to make sure that that's like a really core part of Ironfish. Okay, I saw the video, but it wasn't completely clear what was needed on the base side. Perhaps I'll watch it again. I'm not an expert, but also not a Lumux. Okay. I would love to kind of hear what the confusion is. So if you want to go from Ironfish to Base, there's nothing really you need on Base other than a valid EVM wallet, to be honest. And obviously you might want some gas in that wallet to then move your funds. But you can go from the Ironfish Node app using that bridge tab, and you can just input any valid EVM Base wallet, and it'll use the Chainport bridge to go ahead and bridge that Iron to that wallet on Base. Yeah, so you don't need anything else. The gas is ETH on Base. That is correct. Yep. If you go the other way around, so if you go from USDC on Base, you can actually transfer USDC from Base. So that is private USDC on Ironfish. We actually sponsor some gas if you go that way. So once you get to Ironfish World and you have your private USDC on Ironfish, we also give you a little bit of Iron so you can do those transaction fees on Ironfish. How about going the other direction? So I think I might have already answered that. So if you go from Base to Ironfish, we will give you some Iron for gas. We do not sponsor gas the other way around. So if you go from Ironfish to Base, we don't sponsor gas for that. So you will need a little bit of gas there. But on the bright side, Base is very cheap. Just waiting for some of the other people. What is the Ironfish TPS? You can actually check that out on explore.ironfish.network. We have a chart section. So you can look at the stats, our Ironfish charts on our Explorer. You can also check out some of the stats. The stats are basically opt-in. So this is not going to give you a kind of a full view of the Ironfish network. This is only very few nodes that are giving us telemetry, but it kind of gives you some idea of what's happening. What is the theoretical near-max CPS rate? So because Ironfish is a UTXO chain, it's a little hard to predict that. But I think in the past, we kind of did the napkin math of roughly 400,000 transactions a day is kind of our theoretical max. But yeah, we're definitely not there yet. Yeah, I actually don't know why your message got deleted either. I literally saw it flash before my eyes and then it got deleted, so I'm not sure. And I do apologize for being late on uploading some of these videos. I just uploaded last month's monthly Discord today. Very sorry for the delay, but this one's going to be uploaded much sooner. Yeah, MEESIX is we've definitely had trouble with that MEESIX bot. All right, the question was basically how to appeal to people not already into privacy chain, like something for people to sink their teeth into. Privacy has to make sense in more ways than just preference. I totally agree. So this is not one of the projects that we're currently working on, but something that we've been thinking of is how do we basically bring privacy to other chains in a way that doesn't look like privacy. So what I mean by that is there are a lot of games that have private game state or private game transfer state. And we can build kind of an on-chain board game that actually uses the strong privacy primitives of Ironfish, but for something that makes a lot more sense to people, like literally transferring cards from one user to the next. That's like one aspect of privacy that we've been thinking about. The one project that we are working on, the first stealth project, which is on-chain identity, that is another way of how you can bring pretty strong privacy primitives in a way that makes a little bit more sense to people of how can I prove that I'm a user that has some sort of attestation or verification that I'm a real user or that I verified on a different platform, etc., in a way that doesn't reveal that person's privacy. So that project we're actually working on, with a few other teams in the space who have been thinking about identity, and we're hoping that that's going to make a lot more sense for people. And we are going to be launching those projects on other chains, so we can get to those users who, like you said, are not already into the privacy chain idea. Maybe they're using crypto in other ways. Maybe they're on Base. Maybe they're doing gaming or DeFi, etc. And how do we bring like privacy preserving primitives to them, so they don't have to go to Ironfish first? But yeah, that's part of the reason. Like some of these projects that we're working on, we're kind of keeping private because, or keeping them stealth because we want those teams to really explore, like we want them to talk to users and to like really be flexible in their ideas before we really announce those two projects. One of the other projects that we were thinking of, which we kind of deprioritized, but it's actually VRFs, so verifiably random functions. It's not quite tied to privacy, but it is tied to cryptography. Right now, it's very difficult to get a true random number on any chain. So for instance, if you're using like Chainlink, that's like $4 basically to just get a random number. You could do that with a VRF. That's something we've been thinking about as well. How's your new job at Base going? Good. I mean, again, like I think, like the fact that the Ironfish team is at Base and we're working to push privacy within Base is good for all of crypto. It's good for Ironfish. It's good for Base. Privacy has historically not been a sexy like thing to talk about or to work on, and the fact that Base is now taking an interest there is a really good sign. Oh yeah, we need to calibrate that Meeseeks bot. Very sorry for people who have been having their messages deleted. We've just been swamped with so much spam that it's really hard. Flux. I've heard of it. Tell me more about Flux and why you're excited about it. The project already clearly mentions the name of privacy on non-privacy chains. Interesting. Are you talking about Run on Flux? Like this one? Because I believe they actually have Ironfish support. But that doesn't... Seems like we're talking about a different project. Oh, it is? So Run on Flux, I believe they have they have infrastructure to run full nodes, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Flux nodes supports Ironfish. At least I remember them announcing that. I don't know exactly how to even like navigate their website to figure this out, but I do remember seeing that announcement. Oh, I see. You can mine with Iron on their software. Interesting. I haven't heard about their upcoming payments project, but yeah, happy to dig in. Do you mean like people can pay for their nodes with private crypto? Oh, if someone comes on Flux and says to them, I want 25,000 USD contract and compute, they're seeking to enable crypto to pay for that. Oh, I see. That would be interesting if you can pay for your Ironfish nodes in a privacy coin like Iron, or even private USDC. That would be pretty sick. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if we have a direct channel with them, but maybe we do. I'll have to ask Mabel to look at our Telegram channels. How do you think about the legislative and regulatory landscape and how it's looking for privacy chains? Yeah, it would be really interesting to carefully position Iron with stables as a follow-on on the Genius Act. Oh, the stablecoin bill that's temporarily stuck in U.S. Senate. Yeah, that's very interesting. I think like that's a really interesting question, and I don't know exactly how to answer that. We've been thinking about this a lot. Obviously, one of our biggest pushes was to enable private USDC on Ironfish, and we did that. You can literally bridge USDC from Base to Ironfish and to have a full private stablecoins on Ironfish. That was a really, really big focus of ours. And I think like what we noticed is, we have private USDC, Penumbra has private USDC, Aleo has private USDC, and there wasn't that much demand for it, unfortunately. This is one of those things where we're actively kind of exploring of, private USDC. We thought it was going to be such a huge unlock because we think private cash and private money is such an important aspect of crypto. And unfortunately, the market didn't agree with us. I know having USDC on Ironfish has been such a huge goal of ours, and I'm so happy that we got there, but it's not being used. And so we have to understand what else can we build that will be used, that will have more demand, because payment rails is definitely a big one. For what it's worth, like, there are much bigger players that are getting into stablecoins. I don't know if you guys saw the announcements from Stripe that just happened yesterday. They are all in on stablecoins. Right now, privacy is not a concern for them, but I think, again, my big hypothesis is that privacy is going to be such a huge pivotal moment for crypto, especially as stablecoins are getting traction. Definitely hear you. We're going to have to wrap it up in just a little bit, so I'm going to wait for these questions to come in, and then we're going to go ahead and close this out. This was a great discussion, you guys. Flex just made their own private DEX that is integrated with their platform, basically across the board. They've also expressly said that Flex is not a privacy chain. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay, I'll definitely look into that. Private DEXs do scare me a little bit. Like Penumbra has a private DEX. They do have some traction there. I wouldn't say it's a breakout product. The other thing that scares me is Thorchain. I don't know if you've been following the Thorchain kind of saga. Thorchain has some really, impressive TVLs. But if you have been following Zach XBT account and that investigation, a lot of the money on Thorchain and a lot of the volume that Thorchain has is from illicit funds. So I definitely want to be careful about not building like the perfect product for hackers. If you haven't been following that account, I highly recommend it. I would mostly highlight that for the capability that team has to integrate with projects, Iron could 100% pay for that service actively. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's true. I think after this call, I'll check in with Mabel if we have an active Telegram with them. We might. I don't remember. Like, they've integrated Ironfish almost 2 years ago, so I'm not sure. And if not, then I'll cold reach out to them directly and see if there's a way we can work on that. What if someone from China wants to pay for a service in North America? There's so many hoops. That's why we built a privacy chain, is because we had this thesis that privacy was going to be like this really big focus. And I think we honestly built a lot of these things a little too early. I'm still very bullish on privacy in general, for sure. Early, but it's necessary. That is very true. We do need repeat customers. That is true. I think it would be really interesting to work with Flux and really sell them on the private stablecoins idea. And if we can't sell them on the private stablecoins idea, then we definitely need to build something that would convince them because it's a perfect use case. And if it's not working for them, then we need to adjust. The paradigm view of USD stables equals surveillance aspect of international CBDC. I totally agree. This is why we've been working on Ironfish for 6 years. The promise of crypto is just so strong, and we had this really strong thesis that privacy in crypto is going to be like the biggest unlock. And I still believe in that. I just think we've kind of built Ironfish a little too early for where crypto was at. But we have like the Ironfish privacy mechanism core, and Pectra just launched. I don't know if you are paying, or if you guys are paying attention to the Ethereum world, but Pectra just launched, which means we now have BLS 12381 precompiles on EVM. That's the same curve that Ironfish uses for all of its cryptography. And so what's exciting about that is now we actually can explore can we put the Ironfish privacy mechanism on EVM chains and bring that privacy like directly on chain. that would be very cool. And yeah, really excited about that. We haven't explored too deeply on that, but Daniel, actually, I don't know if you remember some of the previous monthly updates. One of our biggest focuses, or like exploratory focuses, was how do we bring an EVM on Ironfish? We have a full proof of concept of that direction. We did not actually launch it, but the good thing about it is all the logic of how you would like integrate the Ironfish core mechanism with an EVM chain is all there, and we can reuse all that work to explore how do we put like Ironfish privacy mechanism on EVM chains directly. So yeah. Leading on Flux, they actually took XMR off their wallet because the technology is hard to integrate efficiently. That is true. That is actually a pretty big problem with privacy chains in general, is that they do have a higher compute requirement. And yeah, I mean, we've definitely worked with exchanges as well, who all of a sudden, had these questions of like, why is my CPU for Ironfish, like, why are those CPU numbers so much greater? Yeah. Iron Eagle, why are we not on the venture capital investment list anymore? I'm not sure. We were on their, on the main website. I literally just pinged them this morning. Primarily, I'm assuming it's because Ironfish, like IF Labs, was acquired into Base. I asked them to put us back because of these questions. But yeah, I mean, Mutual has supported us on Twitter like nonstop. So they've always supported us fairly strongly. Yes, and we are going to post Daniel's video. We did get like just his snippet. We'll upload it today. Cool. And I think with that, since we're already like 11 minutes over, we're gonna go ahead and close this out. Thank you everybody for such a great discussion. Thank you so much. I really hope that you guys have a great weekend as well. Thank you, Iron Eagle. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Crypto Donald. All right. Thank you, everyone.